I'm sorry, you're saying there's a multiverse?
Hey everybody, this is James Hernandez. How you all doing? And welcome to my top 10 least favorite superhero movies. In my last video, since you guys saw my top 10 most favorite ones, now I'm going to be talking about my least favorite superhero movies. These are the superhero movies that I just do not like and I just do not care for. And this might be like the most controversial video on my channel because I know some of these superhero movies that are lower on this list are going to be like most people's favorites, but these are just the superhero movies that I personally just don't care for. So if you guys like any of these movies, that is fine. This is just my personal opinion, and I know some of you guys are gonna get really angry about some of these superhero movies, but most of them on this list, I know you guys are going to agree that these superhero movies are considered to be the worst of the worst. So all right, so let's get into this. So before I start the top 10 list, I got dishonorable mentions. And the dishonorable mentions is Daredevil with Ben Affleck, The Internals, Wonder Woman 1984, the 1990s Captain America movie, Catwoman, and Captain Marvel. To the Marvels that's coming this month, don't care. All right, so let's start number 10. All right, number 10 is ShangChi. Now, the reason why ShangChi is low on the list is because I don't think the movie is bad, but I don't think ShangChi is great. It's not my favorite Marvel movie. I was not really excited to see this movie when I saw the trailer for this because I don't know who this ShangChi guy is. All I know is that he's basically like a martial arts kung fu guy from China. So I saw the movie and I don't hate it, but I don't want to watch this movie again because there are some good things and there's some bad things about this movie. The good things is that the kung fu action sequences were entertaining. They were pretty fun. The climax was pretty fun. It's like something like out of like Naruto or something. And I like Shang-Chi's dad as the villain. He's pretty cool. And I like Shang-Chi's sister. She's cool as well. The only negatives I have with this movie is that I think the actor who plays Shang-Chi, honestly, he's very bland and boring, and he really has like no personality, and he's really like not very interesting. And Awkwafina in this movie, my freaking god, she is so annoying, and I cannot even stand her. And every time that Awkwafina just make all these jokes in this movie, she doesn't shut up. So yeah, I really, Shang-Chi's not a really bad movie, but I don't think it's that great of a movie. I just don't really recommend this to any Marvel fans, so yeah, let's skip Shang-Chi. Number 9 is Black Widow. Now, much like with Shang-Chi, the Black Widow movie is not bad, but I don't think it's like that great because while I do enjoy Scarlett Johansson's performance as Natasha Romanoff in Black Widow, everything else in this movie, I was very unimpressed because the action is really not really spectacular. The CGI is terrible. The jokes in this movie is not funny. When I was in the theater and when they played the jokes, nobody was even laughing, and I was not laughing. There was one joke I did laugh in the movie is when Dave Harbour as Red Guardian was doing the arm wrestling match against the big guy, and then when the guy lost, he acts like a little kid. Like that scene funny. That scene alone was funny, but aside from that, the jokes is just very cringeworthy, especially when Natasha's sister was making fun of Natasha's landing pose. Ugh, it just makes me feel so freaking dirty. I don't like that joke. It's so unfunny. Taskmaster. What they did to Taskmaster was so damn stupid. I hate what they did to Taskmaster. What the is wrong with this movie? I mean, I hate what they did to Taskmaster. He doesn't look like Taskmaster. That's not even Taskmaster. He just looks like something like out of Power Rangers, and the identity was dumb. So I didn't hate the Black Widow movie. I was just very disappointed with this movie. I just wish the movie could have been a little better if the CGI was better, because the CGI was terrible. So I really don't recommend this movie. If you really want to watch like a female lead superhero movie, could just watch Wonder Woman, and I would consider watch Elektra, even though that film's not great. But at least these two movies were better than this one. All right, number 8. This is going to be very controversial on the list, but my number 8 is Man of Steel. Okay, I know Man of Steel is not that great. If you guys like it, that's fine. If you guys like it, that's fine. There were good things and there's some bad things about Man of Steel. The good things is that I think Henry Cavill did a decent performance as Superman. There were some like fun action sequences, which is kind of like something out of like Dragon Ball Z. But everything else with this movie, I really don't think it feels like I'm watching a Superman movie. It feels like I'm watching like a Batman movie. Because I understand like what Zack Snyder's trying to do with this movie, because I did mention his movie Watchmen on my last video of my top 10 favorite superhero movies, but this one is one of his weakest films. And yeah, Zack Snyder is a mixed bag director, which I love. 300 and Watchmen and Legend of the Guardians, those are really good movies. Man of Steel, I wanted to like it, but I couldn't, because I don't like the message that that Clark's father was giving to him, of letting those kids on the bus die in some kind of accident or something. And the way how they killed him off was so dumb, because he was like stuck in a tornado, and then he was like, "No, Clark, don't save me. Let the tornado take me." And I'm like, dude, Clark, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, you got powers. You're Superman. It's just really not that good of a movie. And Henry Cavill, I felt like he's just like too depressing to play Superman. I really don't like its tone. This movie tries to be like dark and depressing, which I understand what Zack Snyder tries to do with this direction, but to me, that's not really Superman. And the fact that a lot of people say this is the best Superman movie of all time, I'm like, really? Best Superman movie? Have you seen the original 1970 Superman movie and the second one? Those are pretty good films. This one did not come close to be like the greatest Superman movie of all time. I didn't hate Man of Steel. It's not the worst superhero movie ever made, but I don't think it's the best, as a lot of people would say it is, because it's not. So just watch the original Superman with Christopher Reeve, and watch Superman Returns. I know Superman Returns is like not the best Superman movie either, but I would rather watch this one over Man of Steel. So yeah, sorry. Number 7 is Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is one of my least favorite DC Extended Universe films. I saw this movie before the pandemic came, and I really don't like this movie. This movie it got everything wrong. I don't think this movie is a good film. I thought Margot Robbie is not really good as Harley Quinn. The movie didn't even feel like a Harley Quinn movie. I felt like this movie is like a Deadpool ripoff. And the way how this movie is rated R is so unnecessary. I don't think this movie needs to be rated R, because it's really not that violent. It's definitely not as violent as Watchmen, Kick-Ass, or The Punisher. This movie, is just so generically boring. The action scenes, well, there was one action scene that was cool, is when Harley fights the police. That was kind of fun, but aside from that, the rest of the action sequences are terrible. What they did to Black Mask in this movie was so freaking stupid. They make him gay and he hates women, and I really hate when they did to him. He didn't even feel like Black Mask to me. He just acts like a completely stupid gay guy. And this whole movie tries to do like the forced feminism thing, which I was like very uncomfortable with. And I don't think the rest of the movie is that great. I'm glad it bombed, and I'm glad people were really harsh on it, but I felt like people are not that harsh too hard, which they should, because this movie is a piece of crap, and I really don't want to watch Birds of Prey ever again. I despise this movie even more. So yeah, don't even watch this movie. Don't even look at it. Don't even watch it on HBO Max at all. It's a warning. So avoid Birds of Prey. Screw this movie. Number 6 is 2015's Fantastic Four, also known as Fan Four Stick. They tried to reboot the Fantastic Four and they screwed up. I don't know what happened. This Fantastic Four movie, I was thought this was going to be good, and then I realized how god awful this movie was. I saw it with my sister and my father in theaters, and we both walked out by saying this film sucks, and it does. The actors, it's not their fault. I'm sure they're very well talented, but I think it has to be the writing and the direction of this movie that really makes this film so forgettable and so awful. This movie, it didn't make me feel angry because I kind of like the idea of like having like a dark atmospheric tone for the Fantastic Four, but this movie just looks so ugly. The costumes just doesn't look that iconic. It's not even like the blue costumes from like from the previous Fantastic Four incarnations and in the comics. And Ben Grimm the Thing doesn't look like Ben Grimm the Thing. He just looks like a big poop. And he's just, they don't even give him pants in the movie. He was just like running around naked, and I was just like, what? And what they did to Doctor Doom, they make him as an angry blogger, and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I don't know what the hell they did to Doctor Doom in this movie. Doctor Doom is one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time, and what they did to him there, are you stupid? So this movie, this Fantastic Four movie, I never watch it again, and I know it's on Disney Plus, but I'm not watching it, and I don't care. I would rather watch the Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s. At least they're not great films either, but at least they're better than this piece of crap. So yeah, screw this movie. Don't even watch it. I don't recommend it. Number 5 is Morbius. I saw Morbius at first in theaters, and at first I thought it was just an okay movie. I thought it was like not gonna be as bad as everyone think it is, but then the more I think about it, it's terrible. I really did not like Morbius. Like, like with the first 2 Venom movies, like the first Venom is really like not that great. I wish it could have been a little better. Venom Let There Be Carnage, I'll get that one later on. But Morbius, this movie is a joke. It's ridiculous. I don't think Jared Leto did good. Nobody was good in this movie. The CGI is bad. The action is bad. The acting is bad. The direction is bad. This movie is like, I thought this movie was also going to be like an action horror movie, but no, it just turns out to be like another like stupid comedy film that just like, what Marvel is doing. And this movie doesn't know what it tries to connect to. It either wants to connect to Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. It doesn't know what it wants to be. And then the end credits where Morbius meets the Vulture from Homecoming was one of the stupidest mid-credit scenes I have ever seen, period. That was so dumb, and they don't even do anything about it, so why would I even like get so hyped up for Morbius to be in the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe when they're not even connected? It makes no sense. The villain's generic. The romance was so forced. Jared Leto, like I said, he could have been a great Morbius in this movie, but then like the writing was not very good. This is definitely like a supervillain movie done extremely wrong. Don't even watch Morbius. It's garbage. So I really did not like this movie. So yeah, go to hell, Morbius. All right, number 4 is Venom Let There Be Carnage. This movie has one of the stupidest titles I have ever heard, and this movie made me feel underwhelmed and so disappointed, because when I heard that Carnage is going to be in the second Venom movie, I was looking forward to seeing it, and I thought that the second Venom movie was going to be like a horror action movie, but no, it turns out to be like another stupid comedy film. And Tom Hardy in the first one did okay. He wasn't great, but he was okay in the first one. This one, he was god-awful. I hate the jokes in this movie. It's not funny. I wasn't even laughing in the theater. Everybody in the theater was laughing at the jokes in this movie, and I don't know what they're seeing, what they're laughing about in this movie. This movie is terrible, horrible action, terrible, terrible acting. The story is garbage. Oh my god, what they did to Carnage. The Carnage design looks cool, but what they did to his character, this Carnage has no personality. He doesn't even feel like Carnage to me. Woody Harrelson is completely miscast as Carnage. He is so god-awful in this movie. The action scenes were bland. This movie could have been rated R. That would have been interesting, but no, the movie's PG-13, and that's stupid. I don't know what the hell Sony was doing with this movie. This is definitely one of the worst sequels I have ever seen in my life, and this is the movie I don't want to watch again because what they did to my boy Venom and what they did to my boy Carnage. I love Venom and Carnage. They're one of my favorite Spider-Man villains, but what they did to these two in this movie? Hate this movie. So yeah, this movie needs to turn into black diarrhea, so go away. All right, number 3 is Superman 4, A Quest for Peace. This movie is really hard to look at. This is considered to be the worst Superman movie of all time. Not even Christopher Reeve can save this movie from being bad because this movie is not very good. Nuclear Man is just so embarrassing, and the CGI, and no, there wasn't CGI in this movie. There was the effects look terrible, and the way how Superman fixes the wall of China with his laser vision just looks like something out of Legos. It's just so dumb. The action scene is so terrible. The movie literally rips off scenes from the first Superman movie. This is where the Superman franchise went into development hell just because this movie was not very good. So yeah, Superman 4, A Quest for Peace, the worst Superman movie, the worst superhero movie. Don't watch it. Just watch the first one and the second one. Those are way better Superman films. Number 2, no surprising, Batman and Robin. The reason why this movie's number 2 is because I know Batman and Robin is bad. Everyone talks about Batman and Robin on how terrible it is, but it's bad, but it's kind of funny because the costumes are terrible. Arnold Schwarzenegger is so miscast as Mr. Freeze. I don't know why they cast him to play Mr. Freeze. This Mr. Freeze just looks so terrible. And the way how George Clooney Batman introduced himself to Mr. Freeze, he was like, "Hi Freeze, I'm Batman." It's hilarious, but it's so stupid at the same time. And Chris O'Donnell as Robin is so bad, and the costumes is so terrible and cheap, and they'd always do all these those bat ass close-ups, which is so uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, come on, no, enough of, please, no more close-ups, please, thank you. This movie is trash, and what they did to Poison Ivy is so embarrassing. And Bane, they make him stupid, and Alicia Silverstone is Batgirl. Alicia Silverstone is Batgirl. Yeah, this movie looks so cheap. It just looks like I'm watching a McDonald's movie. It just looks so cheap and so hilariously ugly. So yeah, this is a very bad movie. So yeah, don't watch Batman and Robin. If you want to watch a funny, silly superhero movie, then I kind of recommend watching this movie. But as a superhero movie itself, it's terrible. So don't watch Batman and Robin. All right, number 1 is Thor: Love and Thunder. This movie, my God, I hate Thor: Love and Thunder. This was the first Marvel movie I got very angry. This film sucks. I hate this movie. The comedy is terrible. The action is terrible. The CGI is god-awful. Christian Bale tried as the villain, what's his name? Gore? Whatever his name is. He kind of looks like Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter, honestly. And he doesn't really fit this movie at all because this movie is so over the top with its goofiness, and its comedy is just really not that funny. Everything is just terrible. The song that they played at the beginning of the film, the "Welcome to the Jungle," is so cringeworthy, and it does not even fit in this movie. And that is the dumbest song I have ever heard in any movie history. When this movie tries to be emotional, they always ruin it with a very stupid joke, And that's what Marvel is so guilty of. And that is where I was getting very sick of these new Marvel films. They're definitely like not taking themselves seriously. Thor: Love and Thunder is one of them. The jokes are so cringeworthy. This is an insult to superhero movies. It's an insult to Marvel, insult to filmmaking, insult to the direction. And this movie does deserve an award. This movie should have earned a Golden Raspberry Award for the worst Marvel movie ever. And Jane Foster, I like Jane Foster. I was wondering where she was, but then like her direction in this movie and her acting is so cringeworthy, where I just want to just like throw my phone on the screen and I just want to like walk out of the theater, because this movie was such a chore to sit through. I don't want to watch this movie ever again. I think they should have like stopped with the Thor movies after Ragnarok, because I felt like that should have been like a trilogy. But no, we got this movie, and this movie was completely god awful. This is an insult to Thor. Don't ever watch Thor: Love and Thunder ever again. I hate this movie. And this movie, you know what this movie needs to do? This movie should not go to Asgard. They should go to hell. And I wish Thanos would just snap his fingers from this movie's existence. So yeah, screw you, Thor: Love and Thunder. Get out of my face.
You should have gone for the head.
Alright guys, so that's my top 10 least favorite superhero movies. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. I'm not saying here there are facts, and these are just like my personal opinions. And I know I was being very harsh on some of these movies here, but these are just like my opinions, and these are just the superhero movies that I wanted to like, but I just can't. I couldn't get into them, especially with number 10, 9, and 8. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what is your top 10 most least favorite superhero movies? If you agree, disagree, let me know in the comments. And if you guys enjoy my channel, please subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications when I make a brand new video. So this is James Hernandez, and just by saying, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, folks.